meteorologist Rick Reichmuth, who joins us right now. Hi, Rick.
Marianne.
What can you tell us? We've been talking about this tsunami warning and what it means and the fact that could be expanded to include more of the Pacific, but have you heard anything along those lines?
Well, the one thing that I'm seeing is that a hurricane watch has been issued for Hawaii. So that is, obviously of concern to one of our states.
Wow, Rick, as we're talking, I have to talk about this. As we're talking, we are watching, it appears, the tsunami coming in, the smaller one that they've already had that they say was about 13 feet, and we're just watching. I mean, it looks pretty powerful. I mean, it looks like it's carrying homes and cars and everything else. Are they still worried about subsequent tsunamis, about more tsunamis that could do that kind of damage, or worse?
I would tell you, these are not live pictures, is that correct, Marianne?
No, this is stuff that we got in. We're being told that this 13-foot tsunami hit about 30 minutes after the big one hit, after the 8.8 that hit offshore.
Right.
So that's what we're looking at right now. So we've had these for a little while.
Right. Now, there would not be where this is if I was about 30 minutes ago. There likely wouldn't be any other extremely large tsunamis. I mean, they generally come in a series of waves, but, nothing that can generally go on that long.
That was my question. I'm glad you're talking about that, because what is the time frame they look at as far as the danger zone? I mean, are we out of that danger zone?
Well, we're not necessarily out of that danger zone. This area where you're seeing these extremely destructive pictures, this has already occurred, but areas farther downshore and farther away from the center of the the earthquake certainly would continue to see the tsunami just spreading into different areas. So what we're seeing these pictures right here, that's already occurred, but something, another 80 miles, 100 miles up the coast potentially continues to see very similar type tsunamis.
So we could be getting more pictures similar to this. But as far as, we were talking earlier, I was talking with a seismologist, and he said that the tsunami warning could be expanded to, the coast of the United States even. Does it sound like that could happen?
No, in fact, a tsunami watch has been issued for Hawaii. And a statement has been issued for the west coast of the U.S. They have not at this point issued any kind of a warning or watch, but it's under review. And so as soon as they're done with that review, they'll be able to say it's all clear, or that there is some concern. It takes a long time, or a relatively long time, for these waves to move across the ocean. They generally will move 400 to 500 miles an hour. So if there were in fact a tsunami in Hawaii, it would probably be about another 6 hours or so before the waves would arrive there. West coast of the U.S. would probably be another, and I don't know exactly, but probably about another 7 hours after that. So we'll have plenty of time to get that information for Hawaii and for the west coast of the U.S. The more immediate threat are places and locations that are very close to Japan.
Some of those,
Russia.
Russia, and they said the Marianas, there were certain places that were under this warning almost immediately. Yep. And then, of course, you've got the watches in effect as well. So the way you're describing this, though, for people, this is something that could stretch on for quite a while. They're going to be watching this for a while, for several hours.
Well, they certainly are. What they do is they have their buoys out in the water. They're able to check those buoys and see if there's any changes in sea level. And that's how they get an idea if areas past those buoys need to be concerned or not. So, we'll probably have some very good information coming out within the next hour or so about any watches that might be issued for the west coast of the U.S., or if it becomes a warning for Hawaii. We will have, a lot of that information coming in within the next hour or so. So there will be plenty of time, but conditions are right now are certainly very fluid still.
So this is something, obviously, everyone's going to be watching here for a little while. How quickly, you were saying that there's going to be plenty of warning should this get, threaten the U.S. West Coast or Hawaii or any of those other places in general that are under this warning right now. There's plenty of time to act. But when you're thinking about, a wall of water coming towards you, I mean, what can people really do? I mean, what are they told to do?
Listen,
evacuate? Yeah.
In a case where this earthquake happened about 80 miles from the coast, there's very little warning of that. And certainly, obviously, people felt this on the coastal areas, but they don't know where the center of this earthquake was. Is it on land or is it underwater? And if the center of it were somewhere under land, it would not have there isn't a tsunami. The tsunami happens when it happens underwater. And it appears that it was a very shallow earthquake, only about 6 miles deep, which will make a tsunami stronger. But you're absolutely right. If it occurs so close to the coast, there just isn't time for the warning. But if it occurs a little farther out, you obviously have a little more time.
Yeah, again, we're looking at some of these pictures. We're getting newer pictures as we're talking to you, and you see this rushing water filled with debris, cars, buildings, boats, you name it, and all of it is heading toward what looks to be a major highway with cars just driving along. In the middle of all that water and all that debris, there's also little fires going all over the place. I mean, this looks like a major disaster from what we're looking at.
Well, and we're also only seeing the video from one area. I'm certain there's pictures like this all up and down the coast, that it's just going to take more time for those images to come in. So this will continue to unfold, and we'll continue to see, so many of these images over the next couple of hours.
The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center came out with their warnings and watches, pretty much right away. It seems like that they were pretty on top of this and really trying to alert people as far as what was going on. You had that first major quake, 8.8, and then sounds like some subsequent aftershocks that were pretty strong as well, 7.4 magnitude. They are, it sounds like they are trying to get these warnings out to people, but this is obviously developing and ongoing. What do you think they're focusing on at this point?
Well, certainly people at the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and on the west coast of the U.S. they're just monitoring to see if that wave has been issued for those areas. But I have to tell you, I'm watching these images as well, and it's very devastating. You're absolutely right. This is all the debris, it's all the houses, it's cars. It's so powerful, and it's very reminiscent, obviously, to what we saw. I guess it's been 5 years ago. So you see these images in this one area, and this coming in. I'm telling you, this will be going on everywhere along the coast, and areas that are populated, obviously, is a bigger concern for human life. But these images are certainly very scary, Marianne.
So we may have just started to see the beginning of something that could be even bigger. All right, meteorologist Rick Reitmuth, thank you so much for joining us on this.